doing today is we are celebrating great music, great musicians, and people who are absolutely putting Africa on the map, putting jazz on the map. And I'm talking about the one and only, the legendary jazz artist. Should I call you a jazz artist or should I call you a...
Nah, you can call me an artist. That's it. Artist is good enough.
Jonathan Butler.
Yeah.
Of course, you are here. Karibu sana. Welcome to Kenya.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, this is really good to have. You've been here twice before, yeah?
Three.
Oh, three times.
Three times, yeah. Yeah.
You must be really... You need to buy a house in Kenya at this rate.
Well, let's talk to the president. Let's just call the mayor and the president and say, hey,
yeah,
just give this guy a house, man.
Oh, that would be really,
He's crying
really
in the studio. He needs a house.
Of course, Jonathan Butler is with us. He's here for the Nairobi International Jazz Festival. It's all happening for a great cause. October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, of course. This time we're jazzing for a cause. We're jazzing for creating awareness about cancer.
I think that's amazing.
That's really amazing, and it's also good to have you here.
That was actually very moving when I actually saw the poster about that. Yeah,
that's really great.
Yeah.
So let's have a bit of a chit chat. And I know you've been all over the world.
Yes.
There's one thing I read online. Tell me how that felt for you.
Okay.
That you one day woke up and found a message from Stevie Wonder.
Oh yes, it was recent. It was actually recently. My new CD called Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Marcus Miller, the great bass player who produced Luther and Miles Davis and all these people, he produced my record in South Africa. We came home to do the album.
Yeah.
So the first song we worked on was Stevie Wonder's song called Where Were You When I Needed You Last Winter, Superwoman.
Yeah.
And so me, my friend Togozo, she sang on it, and we gave it we Afronized Stevie Wonder's song. And then I called him.
Yes.
I sent him a text message from the golf course and said, hey, Stevie, I'd love to send you a copy of your song that I recorded in South Africa.
Yes.
And can you give me a call back? This is Jonathan Butler, your brother from South Africa.
From South Africa.
So I left the golf course and I went to pick my granddaughter from high school.
Yeah.
And as she gets into the car, Stevie called me. And so my granddaughter was so excited. She just turned 16, so she was very excited. So I talked to Stevie on the phone, and I said, man, I would love to send you something. So I sent him the song.
Yeah.
And the next morning, like 7:30 a.m. in the morning, I get a very long voice message from him telling me how I blessed him with a gift. With his own song, and he was just raving about how I sang it and Togozo's voice and my wife's violin playing. And he was dissecting everything, and he said, "What can I do for you?"
Are you serious?
In the text message, can I give you? I'd love to give you a gift.
Okay.
So he said, "Meet me in my studio at 9:00 tonight." That day.
Yeah.
And I went with Marcus Miller to the studio, and he played harmonica on his own song. And so that was very, very special. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's my childhood hero.
Yes, I know.
So it was great to get a message from your hero.
Yeah, that's really great.
At 7:30 a.m. in the morning,
I struggle to get even some of my heroes here in Kenya to even talk back to me. They just reply to a message.
Drive to their house and tell them what's wrong with you.
So tell me about your music. Of course, some of our listeners are also younger listeners, and they may probably have not heard of Jonathan Butler.
Yes.
So take us way back to that first album. I think it was when 1980 something.
It was 1986 or 1984.
Yeah.
I released a double album called Jonathan Butler.
Yes.
And it had Lies, and it had Holding On, Take Good Care of Me, and it went platinum in the U.S.
Yes.
It went gold in America and in England. It went gold in South Africa and Japan, and so that's when my career internationally began.
Yeah.
So I'm 62, moving ahead. I'm 62. So these young bloods today, they have their own thing.
I know that.
They have their own thing, and that's cool. I really love what they do. But I was brought up in a time where the bigger picture was more important than just flavor of the month.
Yes.
So I would love to talk to these young people about longevity, you
Yes.
know, and that means you got to write songs that stands the test of time.
That's very true.
You got to make music that people can relate to 50 years from now.
That's very true.
So what I'm discovering at 60, I run into people my age going, "Oh my God, it's you," you know. Or I'll run into young people who say, "Can you please sign the CD for my dad?" Or "Can you take a picture for my mom because she loves you?"
Yeah.
So I guess it's an honor to be recognized even at 62 today.
Yeah.
Because I admit, my music has evolved. I've done pop music, I've done R&B, jazz, I've done gospel,
Yes.
and African music. I mean, before there was any instrumentalist
Yes.
type of jazz,
Yeah.
I was doing 7th Avenue, Going Home, and I was doing, Africa. Pata Pata,
Pata, yeah.
changing, bringing more of African flavor to the United States audience, and so they've been really embraced it and love it.
Oh, that's really nice. So you start that album, you get instant success
Yeah.
of that first album.
Yeah, I got 2 Grammy
Yeah.
nominations for those 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this doesn't happen a lot to many artists. So I would say you are extremely good at what you do. So I like to say that. In fact, I heard your rendition of Bob Marley's "No Woman,
No
No
Woman,
Cry."
No Cry. Yes.
I actually had to download it, put it in my car, and then just keep jamming
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
So, how would you describe your music? What would
I'm
you
a
say?
world music artist. I think I've evolved. I've come into my own.
Yeah.
And I realize that I'm a world music artist. I'm not just jazz. I'm not just, I absolutely. Let me just say this to you on the air. I have a very good pastor friend of mine from Johannesburg.
Yeah.
I ran into him years ago in San Antonio. We happened to be in the same town, and he's preaching on a Sunday. I'm doing a jazz festival on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I met him at church, and he said, when I was in the church, he said, "You know what, Jonathan? God is pleased with you, and He's going to use you in the world and in the church."
Wow.
He's going to use you in the field and in the church. Now, not a lot of Christian artists, is doing that. Some of them are more in the church,
Yes.
and not outside of the church. So I have been fortunate to make gospel music in church and take gospel music outside of the church.
That's really great.
So people who love jazz will receive the music.
The music
gospel
either
music.
way.
So I feel like I've evolved as an artist. It's very important, if there's anybody listening, musicians, it's very important to evolve.
That is true.
And not just put yourself in a box.
Yes.
Because once you start being an artist, a formula, when you start becoming a formula, then people will kind of
Over time,
people get tired.
Yeah, they
of
kind of
the
get
formula.
bored. Yeah.
So right now we're living in a universe where there's so much space for everybody. There's so much room for all of us.
That is
true. So be creative. Grow with. Don't be afraid to try something different. And that's my thing. I'm a student. Number 1 of music, and I'm also a lover of music.
That's amazing. By the way, guys, we're going to have more from Jonathan Butler in a bit, but I want to play a song that you did, originally done by Miriam Makeba.
Okay.
Pata Pata.
I love it.
You love it? So
Yeah.
just tell me a bit about this song. Did you just wake up one morning and say, you know what, I want to do something by Miriam Makeba?
I thought Pata Pata would sound really different and fresh if it was done in a very jazz 6/8 groove, like a Yellow Jackets approach. I love Yellow Jackets, one of my favorite jazz bands in the world. So I their influence had an impact on me as to why the song is what it is.
So I'm telling you, Jonathan Butler, Pata Pata, what a song, what a rendition in my opinion. And you know what, this is kind of like a taste of what you'll get to experience tomorrow at the Nairobi International Jazz Festival. We are jazzing for cancer. And also, Jonathan Butler will be joined by also some of Kenya's great jazz artists from Hornsphere, Jacob Asio, Kaima and Friends, and also the Beat Hogs Band. By the way, I was with the Beat Hogs Band yesterday. They came on the show. We had quite the time, and they're really looking forward to meeting you. Actually.
No, I'm looking forward to meeting them too.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
So, talk to us about Nairobi International Jazz Festival. What should Kenyans expect, basically, tomorrow?
Oh man, how long do I have to play? That's the first question.
Yeah.
How long do I have? Because I have a lot of music and a lot of stories, and I'd like to take people. I always love to take people on the journey where it all started, how it started, and then bringing them into the current album.
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot of honest, true expression of love and joy, in the music.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you were to talk to Kenyan fans, I'm sure since you've been here before, a lot of Kenyan fans have consumed your music. What's that one thing that you tell them when it comes to consuming your own music? Because guys, here's what I did. I asked Jonathan off air whether or not he criticizes his own music. He told me he doesn't. Now you enjoy it.
Well, yeah, when I was young, I wanted to be perfect. When you're a young artist, when you're singing, you want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
You want your ad-libs to be perfect. You want this to be perfect.
Yes.
But when you get older, you start getting comfortable with who you are. It's finding your own voice.
Yes.
It's the most important thing. Anybody listening is finding your tone.
So as a fan of your music, that's what I should also do. Also, just kind of enjoy the music as opposed to saying.
Well, because if you're listening to the music to find the imperfections, I mean, when you do little things right. That becomes perfection.
Ah, okay.
When you do little things the right way.
Yes.
Like if you have the guitar and you have a good cable and you have a good preamp, it's going to sound good. So that's already one battle that you've won.
Okay.
But if you have a terrible cable, a terrible guitar, and a terrible preamp, what are you expecting?
It's going to be trash. Let's just call it what it's going to be.
It's going to be nonsense, man. So as I got older, I now just enjoy the feeling. When you play Pata Pata now, it made me feel good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you started off, between the time you started off, of course, back then internet wasn't a big thing.
Yeah.
Now we've got internet, we've got all these things, social media going on.
Yeah.
How do you think it's changed in terms of music, basically?
Well, I grew up in an era where it was, 8-track cassettes.
Yes.
To LPs. To
CDs.
To cassettes.
Cassettes,
Then CDs. And so I've come through all of that, and now it's Spotify, it's downloads, and you can record one song and put it on the download of Spotify. But I still believe in the full album. I love the idea that you can make 10 songs. Because, to me, it's part of your story. It's part of your legacy. It's part of your history. Every album I've ever made is part of my story.
Yes, that's true.
So, but the model of the business has changed. And so the artists are now having to be more proactive with social media, getting themselves out there. And I get it. We all have to do it.
But do you think it's like you have a whole body of work?
Yes.
Nowadays we've got artists. One song becomes an international sensation.
Right.
Makes this ton of money, and after that, there's no body of work necessarily that you see.
Yeah, there's sort of the flavor of the month kind of thing where you get one hit, and it does happen.
Yeah.
But I think longevity is more the key to having a successful career, I'd like to know what the lyric is saying,
and understand what it's all about.
You can't have a song that there's a yeah, baby, yeah. I mean, you gotta please say something.
Yes.
Please say something.
Please say something.
Say something that the world is in chaos.
Yeah.
We got wars. We've got political divisions. There's a lot that we can talk about.
That is true. So, what's in terms of now your body of work? What's that one song that's your favorite to perform that you say, when you play that, I'm excited?
Well, I tell you what, people especially in the States, of course, where I live now, I can't leave the stage without singing "Falling in Love with Jesus." I have to sing that. It's
Yes.
like they, or they want to hear Sarah, Sarah.
Yes.
But for me, it's hard to ask an artist what song they really love. But I think "The Woman Who Cries" is definitely one of those songs that people love to hear.
Yeah. Okay. And throughout also your career, I'm sure, I mean, you've been traveling, performing different places. You ever get in trouble? At one point,
when I was a little boy, I got in a lot of trouble, man, with hotels. I would throw pillows out the window. I would, take the mattress, put it in the bathtub, and wet everything, and just turn on the faucet and let the hotel room just. We got into a lot of trouble. We were crazy.
Oh my!
We were a bunch of crazy kids.
Is that what made you transition into kind of singing about God and the gospel, basically?
No, that was a true transformation. that was definitely a spiritual transformation. But man, we were very naughty when we were kids, man.
Wow,
we were very naughty. Absolutely.
So, just to get to know you a bit better, if you were not doing what you're doing now, who's Jonathan Butler? What do you think he's doing?
That's a good question. Well, what I love to do is I love to cook.
Okay. Really?
So I would probably want to be a chef. I would probably like to be a chef because I sincerely cook
properly,
very well.
Your family must be very blessed to have you then.
No, my wife is blessed to have me because I cook for her all the time.
Okay.
And so I mean, my mother used to say I would be a lawyer. You should have been a lawyer if you didn't play music.
Yeah.
But I really just think that I'm passionate about the things that I'm passionate about. I'm very, very committed to.
All right. Also, just another thing, in terms of the songs that you find yourself especially inspiring you or influencing your style of play, who are some of these artists who kind of do that for you?
I think Stevie Wonder is the first one that's ever perked my interest in writing music that has to do with the times, political times. I mean, Stevie is very aware of the racial divide in America, and he sings about them. And so that, as a child, that was one of the things that that really attracted me to want to be a songwriter. I wrote "Heal Our Land" for South Africa, which was banned back in the 80s. The apartheid government banned the video. They banned the song. I wrote a song for the new album called "Our Voices Matter" when George Floyd was murdered right on TV in front of all of us. So I want to be proactive as an artist in that way.
Okay, cool. So just before we leave, one last question. Is there one particular individual artist right now, if you got the chance to collaborate with, you would jump on a plane and even say, you know what, after Jazz Festival, I'm there?
Let me think. I was going to say Stevie, but I know we will collaborate one of these days. It will probably be Layla Hathaway.
Interesting choice.
It would be Layla Hathaway, because that's my vocal crush. She's definitely my vocal crush.
Wow. Yeah, but I hope your wife is not listening right now.
My wife has a violin crush. There's a guy that she loves. She plays violin, so she has a violin crush. So I think it's going to be Layla Hathaway.
Okay. Well, Jonathan, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
And by the way, man, you've got a great radio voice.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please tell that to my mother. Next, I'll make sure I come with her for the Jazz Festival. Tell her, because she says,
I'll tell her in person.
Yeah, you tell her in person, because she always disses me and says, "You could have been a doctor. Look at what you're doing now."
Yeah.
But anyway,
you reach a lot of people. Doctors don't.
I know.
Like that.
Perhaps no. It's because all of my siblings are all of these scientist types. And
okay.
I'm
very
the only
smart folks.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, you're a smart man. You're a smart man. You reach more people than
absolutely
than people can imagine.
No, she loves the holidays. That's what she loves. Yeah, and the paycheck. Anyway, we'll have to wrap it up there. But Jonathan, thank you so much.
Man,
I cannot wait to see you tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Jonathan Butler with us right here on Classic 105.
When you say sasa?
Sasa. Sasa is saying like, it's like hi.
No, I'm not saying hi. I want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. Asante.
Asante.
Yes. Asante. Karibu sana. Of course, Jonathan Butler.